Hey Blow Up fam, welcome to Blow Up, where Reddit secrets go off like dynamite. Today we've got 5 jaw-dropping family secrets. Think icy stepkids, hidden millions, and betrayals that sting. Ready to dive in? Smash that like button, subscribe, and let's get this party popping. I, 31F, started dating Mark, 36M, 3 years ago. Mark is a single dad to a 14-year-old son and a 12-year-old daughter. The mother of Mark's children died 11.5 years ago. He dated very little after her death before we met but had dated some. I was his first relationship after the passing of his late partner. As a couple we work well together and share a lot of the same values and goals in life. We can have fun together but have been able to discuss the serious stuff. I get along well with his family but not his kids. From the start, 2-ish years now, they have been cold and unwelcoming. Mark has spoken to them, he told me they're in therapy and he has encouraged them to give me a chance. But they can't hide the fact they don't want me around. We have gone slow and have tried to find ways to ease the tension and show I'm not a bad person or here to take their dad from them or replace their mom. Nothing works. We never tried therapy together but I don't even live with them and I'm not sure how willing they would be to speak in any therapy sessions with me. My partner has spoken to a therapist and has done some therapy with his kids and implemented suggestions given but those methods were a waste of time. Nothing changed. I know these things take time. I don't expect sunshine and rainbows overnight. But the more time we spend together the more I feel his kids' dislike of me. Even when I'm just there and not trying to engage and existing in the same house as them the tension can be felt. They ignore me. Won't even look at me. Yet they still radiate tension. I know my partner's family have talked to the kids about giving me a chance. I don't know if that helps or makes it worse. I feel like we're facing a reality of they might never accept me or like me. And now I'm considering ending this relationship because I want to be a mom and I don't want to wait too long. And even if I waited until his kids were out of the house, then how would that be fair to have kids who'd have half-siblings who would refuse to have anything to do with them or who won't even speak to their mom? My partner and I talked about it. He said he'll understand if it's too much. We're taking some time so I can think. Since this, his sister reached out to me after I didn't show to a couple of things and asked if things were okay, and she told me she hoped she wasn't intruding too much but she wanted me to know how happy I made her brother and how nicely I fit with the family, and she understands the kids aren't too welcoming but it would be such a shame for me to walk away. It made me feel bad because I know my partner is a good guy and his family have been amazing. But his kids will always be his kids. And I don't know if I could let us come between them or if I could handle living with them always disliking me. Mark's kids are giving OP the silent treatment like she's a ghost in a haunted house. I bet they've got a secret club called Operation Ice Out, complete with frosty stares and zero eye contact. Someone get these teens an Oscar for Best Dramatic Tension. That's some Frosty family vibes. If you were OP, how would you handle stepkids who treat you like you're invisible? Would you stick it out with Mark or bounce like she's thinking? Are the kids just grieving or are they being unfair? Drop your thoughts below. If you've ever faced stepkid drama, spill it. I'm all ears for more blow up-worthy tales. Those kids turned OP's life into a tension thriller. Talk about a chilly welcome. Blow Up crew, you're rocking it, sticking with us. Our next story from our /amith asshole is about a secret fortune that sparked a marital spat. If you're loving these secrets, smash that like button and let's keep the drama rolling. I am 31M, my wife is 34F, my cousin is 33F, her husband is 35M. My cousin and her husband own a fairly large farm and that is my cousin's pride. Enjoy. Not one single person was surprised when she bought it. Her husband is a pipe welder and makes good money as well. My cousin and her husband are well known in the community and very well respected. They do a lot for the community. With all that said, when she was in her early 20s she won a fuck ton of money. I'm talking foo kind of money. At the moment she has made it so all of the kids, including any children I may have, in the family will be able to go to college. And she paid for her siblings' educations. She has used it for the community but what she's done with it didn't even make a dent in it. My cousin is insanely wealthy. Her place is paid off and her husband's income along with the farm income pays for pretty much everything, so the money she won isn't really touched much other than for her charity work and if they need some sort of specialized equipment. They do have a very nice home but if you saw them just out and about you wouldn't know it at all. They look very normal. She drives a Bronco her husband gifted her when she had her most recent baby, or the farm truck that looks like it's been to hell a few times. My wife and I have been together for 3 years and married for a year and a half. My wife is a nurse practitioner and she is in a specialty field so she makes very good money and I work in aviation. I make about the same as she does. We are well off compared to most people in our area but we aren't even close to what my cousin is. She would have been making well over what we make just in her farm and her husband's job, and the other just makes it insane. My wife is very prideful. She likes to make sure everyone knows she made it. She has a very nice car and likes to bring up how much she makes in nearly every conversation. She always wants the best of the best, and I try to give her that. 99% of my family cannot stand my wife, but they are too nice to say anything, and I love her, so they just deal with it. Recently another one of my cousins got married, and she got married at my rich cousin's house. They have a huge barn and a nice pond, so they basically cleaned out the barn for the wedding. It was beautiful. That was the first and only time my wife has been to my cousin's house. She always thought my cousin just had a little hobby farm, and for some reason she thought they were poor. I didn't know she thought they were poor. Most of our vegetables, meat, and eggs come from my cousin, but I normally get it from her myself. Anyway, now my wife is pissed that I embarrassed her, and I should have told her that my cousin was rich. I didn't really think about something like that. I just assumed she knew because she's from here. It's not like it was a secret. My cousin paid for all of the upgrades to the school and matched the donations for the community to build a park. There is a huge banner on the park fence for her husband's business and her farm, along with all of the other businesses that donated to it. We pass by that park all the time. It has become an argument because I pretty much told my wife she embarrassed herself and should stop treating everyone like they are poor. There are several people in our community that make as much or more than we do. She just doesn't see that, and they don't flaunt it like she does. So am I the a-hole for not telling her? AITA for telling her she embarrassed herself? Wife's out here flexing her paycheck like it's a gold medal, only to trip over cousin's secret millions. I bet she thought that barn wedding was a budget. Why, turns out it's a rich girl's playground. Someone get her a humility coupon. That's a money mess. If you were OP, how would you handle a spouse mad about missing the rich cousin memo? Would you spill the cash tea up front or assume she'd figure it out like he did? Is the wife's pride tantrum justified, or did she embarrass herself? Tell me below. And if you've got a family secret that shocked your partner, share it. I'm craving more blow-up-worthy drama. That wealth reveal flipped the script. Wife's pride took a bigger hit than her bank account. Blow up squad, you're killing it. Our next story from our /amithasshole is a sisterly betrayal that cuts deep. If you're hooked, hit that like button and let's dive into more Reddit chaos. I, 28F, was with a guy called Jason, 29M, when we were 21 years old. We broke up when I was 22 after I'd found out he had not only cheated on me, but knew he contracted an STD from sleeping around and didn't tell me. He had known about it, and he was told he needed to speak to any sexual partners because of the risks associated with this STD to fertility, and he said nothing. I remember when I told my family what had happened, they were all there to support me, and my sister, 27F, was one of them. I did move on, and I met my husband a year after breaking up with Jason. And thankfully I was able to get pregnant and we have a baby together. But I never forgot about the fact Jason did what he did. Cheating was bad enough, but you can move on. The STD was where it became not only unforgivable, but I would have taken issue with anyone in my family even becoming friends with him after that point. But then 3 months ago my sister asked me if I would be okay with her dating Jason. She told me she didn't want to lose me, but they had met again after several years and she liked him and he'd changed. I walked away from my sister without saying a word, and she started dating Jason officially. Though when she came to me like she did and asked me like she did, I would guess they had been unofficial before that point and not just friendly. I have shut my sister out of my life and she has not been allowed to come and meet my child. The rest of the family stands me and what I decided, but they have not shut her out of their lives. Which is totally fine and not an issue for me. But my sister doesn't like that, and she has tried to get in touch with me several times and has cried and asked me to hear her out and to talk to her. The fact I have run into her once since and I ignored her. She was talking to me, but I acted like she was a ghost I couldn't see or hear. So she ambushed me at my house the other day and told me she doesn't want to lose me and she'll break up with Jason if I stop ignoring her and we can go back to being sisters. I told her she lost me the second she even considered dating him. I told her I might not have known about it in that moment, but once I heard she wanted to date him, knowing what he did to me, it was over. She's crying about it now and our family are refusing to hear her cries about it. My baby sister, 24, told me she's trying to get the rest of the family to confront me about it, but nobody will. She does think our sister is genuinely hurt about this, but she feels like it's her own fault. And I agree. But I know what I said to her might still be overly harsh, because even thinking about it without acting on it would have led to this, which might be wrong of me. So I'm here to ask AI. Sis is out here picking Jason like he's a clearance rack find, STD and all. I bet she thought, he's changed, he's a catch. Now, OP's ghosting her harder than a bad Tinder date. Someone get this family a Loyalty manual. That's a betrayal that stings. If you were OP, how would you handle a sister? Dating your shady ex? Would you cut her off like OP or try to talk it out? She harsh for ending it over a thought, or was the Jason move unforgivable? Drop your take below. And if you've had a family member cross a line like that, spill the tea. I'm ready for more blow-up drama. That sisterly stab was brutal. Jason's a walking red flag. Blow-up crew, your champs for keeping up. Our next story from our /AITAH is about a mom's ultimatum that backfired big time. If you're loving these secrets, hit subscribe and let's dive into more family fireworks. My mom has me, 27M, and my sister, 29F, with our late dad. He died when I was 10 and my sister was 12, and when I was 15 my mom got remarried. Her husband is Frank, fake name. From the very start my sister and I had issues with Frank. We have bigger and smaller issues. The two big issues were. He insisted that nobody mention dad in his presence. Didn't matter who we were with or where we were, it was not allowed. This included the times he tagged along when we went to see anyone from dad's side of the family. He would invite himself and then enforce this rule, or he'd make us leave. Mom let this happen. Even on dad's anniversary or birthday we couldn't talk about him if Frank was around, and that included asking mom if she wanted to come to the grave with us. Frank actually yelled at my sister during her graduation dinner because she had mentioned dad in her speech. He inserted himself deeply into the relationship with our dad's side of the family. We could visit anyone on mom's side without issue. He didn't even care if we said anything to him. But the second it was someone from dad's side and he found out we only mentioned it to mom, he would scold us and insist we needed to ask his permission to see them. Then he'd tag along frequently and invite himself to see them too. This went for a lot of stuff. Mom had already stopped coming with us before she even met Frank. But he insisted on being there, and if my sister or I said we didn't want him to come, then he told us we couldn't go. If whoever we went to see didn't want Frank inside the house, he'd say then we weren't allowed inside either. Once my sister moved out, he was pissed that she spent more time with dad's side and he tried to tell her what to do still. She was having none of it. My sister and I talked to mom about all our issues with Frank and we told her we didn't want a relationship with him. She always told us we needed to have one with him to have one with her. We took her at her word and my sister stopped talking to her, and once I moved out so did I. We stopped going to see her or spending holidays with her and Frank. We didn't invite her over or initiate any contact. She brought it up a few times how we were bad at maintaining the relationship and we told her we weren't. We just weren't maintaining it, but she ignored us. She tried to come and see us a few times. We told her no Frank, so she never came. We let her birthday pass without any acknowledgement, and when she'd tell us about Frank's birthdays we'd work to forget the date. A few weeks ago I got engaged. I didn't tell my mom or ask anyone else to, but the news got to her. She was upset she didn't hear it from me, and upset I said no to he throwing an engagement party for us. She never even met my fiancé, which was something else that upset her. She asked how she's supposed to meet her for the first time at the wedding, and I told her she's not supposed to. I said she won't be invited. My mom did not expect that at all, and she asked me why. I told her Frank is not welcome and she made it perfectly clear she won't come. I reminded her that she said we can't have a relationship with her if we won't have one with Frank, and I told her it would be over my dead body that I have a relationship with him. My mom said we were supposed to love her enough to accept Frank, and I told her I do not have to have a relationship with the man who would kick up a fuss over my dad being mentioned in his presence and who tried to control the relationship I had with my family. I reminded her dad is still my dad and I'd find a way to incorporate his memory into the wedding. I asked her if Frank would tolerate that or if he'd start yelling like at my sister's graduation. She told me she doesn't want to lose both her kids and she loves us. I told her we love her, but we're not willing to accept that man she calls a husband. Then she told me I was being so unfair, and when she said what she did we could have talked about it more. That reminding her like this wasn't right. I said this was the consequences of her actions. I told her I could live with the consequences of not accepting Frank. That I can sleep fine at night knowing our relationship is what it is. And it isn't my problem if she can't do the same. Now she's upset and angry, and apparently I'm the bad guy in her eyes. AITA? Frank's out here acting like Dad's Memory is a banned movie sequel. I bet he'd storm the wedding with a no dad talk sign. Mom's playing the victim card. Harder than a soap opera star. Someone get this family a timeout corner. That's a family standoff for the ages. If you were OP, how would you handle Mom's Frank or bust rule? Would you cut her off like he did or try to negotiate? Is Mom's hurt legit, or did she set herself up with that ultimatum? Tell me below. And if you've ever had a step-parent power trip, share it. I'm all about that blow-up drama. Frank's control game just torched that family bridge. Yikes. Blow Up Squad, you're legends for sticking around. Our final story from our /AITAH hole is a fruity feud with nosy neighbors. If you're loving these secrets, hit subscribe and let's wrap this up with a juicy twist. I, F45, have a front yard with a lot of flowers and fruit trees. A lot of people walk in my neighborhood and some like to stop by my house and look at the garden. Sometimes I share whatever fruit I have in season. Occasionally some people who walk by will ask about picking fruit. Most of the time I let them know I'll pick some for them and I give them some. When I have big harvests I usually leave a bucket out for passers-by and they can take what they need. In the past when I've said yes to pickers I've come home to totally stripped trees, so I rarely say yes, and instead I give the fruit out on my terms. There's a family in my neighborhood who love my fruit trees. They always walk by and comment on them and mostly they seem nice, but often they make it a point of telling me I have more than I can use. This isn't actually true because I do canning and also grow fruit specifically with the intention of donating to my kids' school and to food banks. I don't mind sharing, but my garden is precious to me and I feel sharing is my choice. This family has a little girl and they asked me to let her pick because she loves the experience. They first asked about a year and a half ago. I reluctantly said okay so that she could have the experience. When they picked it was a mess. They wasted fruit and broke tree limbs and left squashed fruit all over the ground, but I figured it was just one time so I didn't complain. The problem came when a different fruit tree was ready. They just showed up and helped themselves without even asking. They don't even care if I'm home or not. This also includes picking flowers. I've passed them while out on their walks and they just let her walk into people's yards and pick any flower she wants. The little girl is sweet. It's not her fault, but I don't think it's good manners. Recently, I stopped them when they were picking and asked them not to just pick without asking. The mom got upset and said I just forgot that I gave them permission. I let her know that I gave them permission for one time, not indefinitely and certainly not for every fruit and flower I grow. The father got upset and said I should feel ashamed to not share free food with a little girl who is just trying to experience what it's like to pick. I asked them why they've never planted anything for her themselves if that was important. The mom went on about how this is just being neighborly and I have plenty and it's free anyway, so why can't I just share? Truth is I can, but I don't want them treating my yard like it's theirs to do whatever they please in. I have my own kids and when I wanted them to learn about planting I planted stuff with them. I didn't take them to someone else's yard to harvest. The family was very upset and feel I'm being greedy. I do get enough to share, but am I for telling them to stop picking? Neighbors are treating OP's yard like it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. I bet they think free fruit means smash and grab. That little girl's picking like she's auditioning for a fruit bandit gang. Someone get these folks a gardening 101 crash course. That's a fruity fiasco. If you were OP, how would you handle neighbors raiding your trees? Would you set boundaries like she did or let them pick away? Are the parents entitled, or is OP stingy for gatekeeping her harvest? Drop your take below. And if you've had nosy neighbors snag your stuff, tell me. I'm hungry for more blow-up-worthy stories. Those secrets were explosive. Which one had you shook? Tell me below. I'm reading every comment. Smash that like button and subscribe for more Reddit fire. Thanks for hanging with me. Next time we've got crazier tales. You won't want to miss it. Catch you then.